No, I don't need a vacuum cleaner with Wi-Fi. Ah, crap. This guy again. Surf's Up. What is this? Columbia Pictures. This is based off a movie? Well, I guess since this is based off a movie, from what I can tell, it's technically a licensed game, so, I mean, let's review it. Let's give it a shot. Oh no, I remember this thing. This is that damn Surfing Penguins movie. Well, we're here anyway, we might as well play it.
12 seconds later.
I finished the game. Well, this is certainly a weird concept. Surfing penguins. I mean, that's just silly. I don't know if I can really say anything else about this game without just diving into the plot, or I guess what little plot it has. I just don't know much about the original source material here, so let's just talk about the game. From what the tiny cutscenes tell us, there's a surfing tournament called the Reggie Belafonte Big Z Memorial Surf-Off taking place on Pengu Island. Really? Pengu Island? That's like a human being from Human City, or pandas being from Pandaria. Anyway, a sports anchor sea lion named Sal talks about finding new blood for the tournament from the Antarctic town of Shiverpool. God damn these dumb names! Then you pick a character and a board and the game is on. There's really nothing past that. You don't get to know anything about your character or their backstory. You're just kind of thrown into the first event. Each event sends you down a coach line as huge waves are coming in. Your main goal is to score as many points as possible. You don't have to worry about beating the other surfers or coming in first place because there's no placing system. Either you get enough points or you don't. The AI opponents have no score of their own, so you don't have to worry about them. It's just pass or fail. Each level has 3 objectives. The first is to reach the base set of points. You have to meet this objective in order to beat the level. The second is to score even more points, and the third is to go through gates placed through the stage. The bonus objectives unlock these shells that can be used to unlock new stages and boards and junk. So how's the actual gameplay? It's fun. I'm not kidding. I mean, it's honest to God fun. I think that's the first time I ever said that on this show. Sure, it takes a bit of time to get used to the controls, but once you got them figured out, it's a blast. You can perform various tricks and grinds to get points, and it's a great feeling when you nail a tough trick or chain a bunch of moves together. Doing tricks earns you boost, which you can use to get extra speed or save it up for an uber boost mode where you can get massive amounts of points. The level layouts give several branching paths and options to take. If you do them just right, you can blaze through sections, doing all sorts of awesome tricks and feeling like a total badass penguin on a surfboard. That sentence got a lot less cool as I went on with it. This game reminds me a lot of the SSX series, which was a favorite of mine as a kid. I mean, SSX On Tour did introduce me to Iron Maiden and Dio, so how could I not love it? And while the game is a great deal of fun, it can be very easily broken. I was having trouble on one level meeting the point requirements, so I ended up spamming the same trick over and over and over again on the wave until I got my uber boost, and then I spammed those super tricks over and over again. It's a very easy and very effective way to reach score requirements, but it breaks the game wide open. Another downside is that there aren't that many stages, and the game is just criminally short. I beat pretty much everything in almost 2 hours. If I paid $60 for that, I'd be pissed. Thankfully, I only paid $9 for this. Thanks, Amazon! But at least the achievements are easy as dicks to get. I got about 500 gamerscore while playing, and it looks like a really easy 1,000 points. I might go back and perfect it sometime, but after my fiasco with achievements with Sneak King, my 50,000th gamerscore on fucking Sneak King! Ah! I might not be doing that. You can play versus up to 4 people as well, which plays exactly the same single player, but I was only able to play on 2 maps. I don't know if I was just missing some way to unlock them or I had to do something in single player, but I was stuck with the first 2 levels in Shiverpool.
God, I still hate that freaking name.
There's also a weird leaf riding minigame. I don't really know what it has to do with anything, but it sucks pretty hardcore. It's floaty and sloppy, and you have almost no control over it. I recommend not even touching it.
Touch. Don't touch.
The game looks alright. The character models are just fine when they're surfing, but during a cutscene or stopped into the race, you can really tell how awkward they look. The water is pretty basic, but I have seen worse in other games, despite the surfboard clipping through it. The best looking parts of the game are on the sunny day levels. Everything's bright and colorful, and it does evoke a nice feeling of being on the beach, but then you look at the obvious 2D backgrounds, you kind of get taken out of it. The sound design isn't very good, though. The actual in-game sound effects are very quiet. You'd think a giant tidal wave would be a lot louder. The voice acting is barely noticeable in-game, but at least Sal has a good announcer voice. In fact, it's so good, he has to show it off before every event. And I'm serious. Every single event. If only his jokes were as good as his voice.
Avoid the main footpath this morning. We have a 20 penguin pileup causing all sorts of traffic problems.
The music also seems to be a bit of an odd choice. It's mostly licensed songs by bands like Simple Plan and Plain White T's. I know sports games like SSX have soundtracks like this, but it just seems kind of weird. I think it would have been better with something like this. Or this.
It's tricky to rock around, that's right, on time is tricky.
Or just for shits and giggles, this.
Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city.
I mean, I know sports games like SSX have soundtracks like this, but it just seems kind of weird with penguins in it. Come to think of it, actually, maybe the soundtrack's fine. I probably wouldn't mind if they were human surfing. I just keep getting distracted by the fact that they're all bloody penguins! Why? Why are they penguins? Why do they have to be penguins? Penguins have nothing to do with surfing. Why are they penguins? You know what? I'm not going to get any answers just yelling into a camera at the internet about surfing penguins. If I want to know what's going on with this game, I've got to go right to the source. I've got to watch the movie. So how accurate is the game to the movie? There's like nothing the same. Plot-wise, at least. The movie focuses on the story of Shia LaBeouf's character, Cody, making his way to the top and helping his idol come back into society. The game just focuses on surfing, which, you know, I'm not really complaining about. Do you know why? Because the movie has no goddamn surfing in it! Seriously, there's like 3 or 4 actual scenes in the movie where people surf. Otherwise, just people standing around trying to be funny and just spouting exposition and crap, and it's not good. You think there should be a little bit more surfing in the movie that's called Bloody Surf's Up! It's not up, it's down. It's down by 40%, and it's gonna crash the stock market, and it's gonna set a dramatic turn of events that caused the world in the Great Depression too, now in color, and everything will suck, and you won't be able to get your daughter that adventure figure she wanted because you have no money. It's her birthday, and she'll be upset, but she'll be like, "It's okay, Dad, I understand." And it'll be even worse because she knows she wanted it, and she knows what's going on, and her childlike innocence has been stripped from her in a blaze of reality and fear that swims across the land. As stores close, we've got to go to war in the streets to maintain the most basic human rights in society, and civilization crumbles and falls underneath our feet as generations of life burn and die from the fires of hatred and neglect that are caused by the disastrously, horribly miscalculated amount of surfing that events in silly pictures and animated movie! Thankfully, we don't live in a world as dumb as my brain, and a second Great Depression will not be caused by an animated penguin movie that doesn't have as much surfing in it as advertised. I guess my basic point here is that the movie sucks.
I just don't think it's very good for your brain.
I know.
It really has no reason to be watched. I mean, the jokes are bad, the acting is meh, best, the storyline is predictable, and it barely has any surfing. And why was the documentary sweet? Nelson, why? This movie sucks! I mean, it is a piece of... Oh yeah, I'm talking about the game. Okay, not the movie, I'm talking about the game. Well, the game's not really that bad. If you can get past the absurd concept in the short playtime, you'll probably have a good time with it. Especially if you achievement hunters out there. It's an easy 1,000 points. This is a first for the show, but I mean, I'm actually recommending a licensed game. Surf's Up of all things. I mean, obviously it's not going to be for everyone. If you don't like sports games, like extreme sports games, you're not going to be into it. But I mean, if you're a fan of like SSX or even like Tony Hawk or Skate, I mean, you might like this. I mean, you can beat it in an afternoon. So if you just want to play a quick game, get some easy achievements, and have some actual fun with a licensed game. You know, I'm feeling pretty good about this. This is giving me hope for other licensed games. I mean, something as bad a movie as Surf's Up gives a good game. I mean, who knows what else is out there? A lot of times you just assume licensed games are bad, because a lot of times they are, but... You know, I'm getting a bit more hope. I'm more optimistic. I mean, I'm just feeling good about this, you know? Everything's feeling really good right now. I think I'm feeling full of life and joy. I think I'm gonna go for a walk. Maybe go for a swim. Go to the park or something. Just get outside and live! This thing is hot. I'm talking about in a sexy way. Can you even understand what I'm saying?